Right. Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, this is going to be a collective message part two. Now, earlier today, I put out a part one, and I felt like we should open it up to a possible part two if you guys wanted it. And many of you did. So, thank you for the feedback. Letting me know you guys were interested. Because I wanted to kind of know like her side of everything. Now, if you didn't see part one, you'll probably want to watch that first. When I'm done recording this, I'll make sure that I put that free link to part one there in the description box. But if you want to easily find it even right now, you can pop over to the playlist that is called Bonus General Message, and you will find collective number one. I'm in the same outfit. And it was a story about a King of Swords that was sending a pretty lengthy message. He viewed her as his Queen of Swords. She had actually come up as somebody who had more or less forgotten about him for a period of time. Hi, everybody. Great to see you. But she had pretty much like said, I don't believe that he'll ever come forward toward me. And yet, here comes this message, a lengthy message that she kind of is sitting in a Queen of Wands energy in part one, and going to need to kind of digest his words. And what we saw is like a passage of time, like at least 24 hours, so like receiving a message, reading it, digesting it, thinking about it for like 24 hours. And then we didn't get to see what was she going to say in response. We kind of already know that it's going to be a shocker for her, but we know she's still interested in this person. But I just kind of thought, let's take a look at her perspective. So we have a 10 of Pentacles that comes out sideways. 10 of Pentacles being sideways. I mean, this can be shared energy. This can be like, I can understand how she might have a reasonable thought process about like, okay, wait a second, for a very long time, maybe I thought about this person, but really gave up on him ever coming forward, or she kind of like had surrendered the whole concept of it to like the higher realms, and maybe even thought it wasn't going to happen in this lifetime. Now to hear from him, that question mark of what would a 10 of Pentacles look like? Like, I don't think that these two ever had the opportunity to build anything, because we saw him as being somebody who pretty much was Tin Man from, like Wizard of Oz, like completely all statued up and had kind of suppressed all kinds of emotions internally as he was going through some major internal transformations, and really didn't breathe a word of it. So I don't know that she knows who she's dealing with at this point, or what a 10 of Pentacles would look like. Ace of Pentacles. I mean, it appears that what we're really seeing first is just like her mindset surrounding hearing from this King of Swords. And it's like, okay, it would be like a brand new person, a brand new day, a brand new beginning, which means I'd have to just kind of see, what is it that they're offering? What does this new world look like between myself and them? She would probably, this is not going to be a storyline where they pick up wherever they were in the past. This is going to be a new dawning day. And I think she knows that. I think she's very much aware of that. I think that's probably the only way that she could possibly approach this. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. So she's naked right now. So I have to give her a little swimsuit with my fingers. She wants to give to this and be very, very, very raw and real. I think that's probably why she doesn't have clothes on. She's going to be generous with her time, obviously. She's going to be very transparent with what she's thinking, even right down to this. Like, well, I don't know what a 10 of Pentacles might look like together, because we never had the chance to build that. So this would be like getting to know you for the first time ever. That is a tremendous amount of grace for her to grant this person. It's interesting that she kind of begins with that, like this incredibly like stable and open-hearted energy, where it's not even like, where the hell have you been? What the hell's been going on? She's just in this place of, okay, my ears are open. My heart is open. I'm going to be super real with like, I'd like to see who you are. I'd like to get to know you. That's kind of amazing, because now she's not overcommitting herself. She's not saying, come here, honey, let me love up on you. She's not making promises that she may or may not be able to follow through with. She's not saying that she's mad. She's not pretending anything. She's just saying the facts are, I'd like to get to know you. if I could. Oh, yes, I'd like to get to know you. Sorry, that song is in my head. That one, whoo, when it gets stuck in there, it gets really stuck. That is not a fun one to have stuck in your head. Six of Pentacles. It's very much, I kind of think that her coming in with such pure intentions and her response being so incredibly like just down to earth and kind and just kind of like open. I think you notice how this person is like on their knees, like, oh my God, I cannot believe how fortunate I am that she's not starting out with recriminations or 59 questions or anything like that. It's just like this open, like, I don't know yet how we could end up. But obviously we're always aiming for the best. So let's get to know each other. I mean, that is such an incredible like reset button. It's not even like she's doing this with, you know, well, I'll give you a chance, but you better do this and I'm going to watch you and you got to better walk on eggshells. Like, honest to God, I think this is like the greatest queen I've ever seen, because she's not putting in like conditions, emotional obstacle courses. She's not going to make it hard for herself and she's not going to make it hard for them. If she wants to see where this thing's going to go, she's going to vote in her own best interest by saying, I'm not about to make this difficult. If she's mad at him or doesn't want him, then she won't say yes. But this is a queen who wants to say yes. She always thought that they could have been something. She always thought that they were even supposed to be something, but just maybe not in this lifetime. So now that he is reaching out, her response is, well, I mean, I'm certainly not going to say yes, but I'm super angry and I'm going to make this miserable for both of us, because that would defeat the whole purpose. That is an incredibly wise queen who just takes it in stride. We got to go over here to him because this is like more than he had hoped for. This is somebody who's like, we see this huge amount of gratitude, you know. I do think that this is like making him fall even more for her at this point, is what that comes across as. Like, there's such a gentleness in this. The Chariot. Oh my God. And keep in mind, what we saw from him is that he was not great with emotions. He kind of, whatever transformations and whatever things he had to think about and go through, he kind of did it all internally without sharing it with anybody. So to be given this kind of grace after some pretty like internalized, tumultuous, you know, pressurized, I feel like he was probably a pressure cooker for a while. To be given this opportunity to just get to know her again without the wrath or the recrimination or anything like that. And we never saw him like try to, you know, cause her grief. We didn't see him as some egomaniac. We didn't see him as some cheat. We saw him as somebody who had some stuff that he had to figure out in himself. Maybe it was healing. Maybe it was, you know, getting over whatever repressed stuff he had to deal with. And she basically just gave him space as a human being to do what he had to do and said, maybe we'll still be good together, or maybe it'll be in a lifetime from now. I don't really imagine he's coming forward. And she just kind of let it be. So, I mean, she has definitely been extremely accepting throughout this, but we can see his response to her behavior is like, man, he is so in love with her with that Chariot upright. These dolphins, I mean, he's never going to leave her side. This is like kind of maybe the best depiction of what like really loving another person looks like. You know, when you can comprehend that there are times when they're doing the best they can with what they got, even if they can't be beside us. And then when they can be, it's like, well, I can't hold it against you or be angry that you were wounded and you had stuff that you had to do. So maybe we just pick up from here. It is this huge sense of like acceptance. And we have a king and a queen of pentacles. So interestingly enough, in part one, they were a king and queen of swords. Now they're a king and queen of pentacles. It's interesting how his energy is changing so much because of the way she's presenting to him, right? She's not coming across as, you know, let's get this cerebral, super conversation going. He approached her like a king of swords. Okay, I need to write this big thing. I need to send you this lengthy explanation, blah, blah, blah. But she's responding not with 100 more questions, but instead with, I'm receiving. And he is matching her by giving. It's interesting how we go from sword energy, which can be kind of sharp, it can be kind of intense, it can be kind of like emotionless. And then we're shifting into earth energy, which is super grounded. It's like, think of Mother Earth, think of Gaia. Like, it's a place where we can be nurtured. It's a place where we can like rest and calm. And it's a place where we can start to dig our roots down and start to grow from. That's an incredible and very important. I'm so glad we're doing a part two, because I have not seen something so like poetically perfect, to describe like what would make a relationship that obviously, had a pretty massive delay. What would make it successful? How could these two still be successful? It's if they shift gears into the pentacle energy. Not saying kings and queens of swords are bad or anything like that, but obviously for these two to get beyond the communication part and get to the building, they have to find comfort with each other and they have to have stability. But she's the one who set the tone for this. Now, here's the thing. I want to backtrack and say probably the only reason she can come across as a queen of pentacles is maybe because he started out as a king of swords. If he comes in with that full explanation of everything, she's not left sitting there going, what the hell happened? What do you think you're doing? Waltzing back into my life. No explanations. He began on the right foot with her. You notice we got the 10 of Wands. So a lot of questions that maybe she would have had to like ask or would have been pissed off if he hadn't just offered transparency to. I think this wouldn't have worked had he not come in as a king of swords, saying she deserves to know everything like a queen of swords. But now, because he handled her that way, she's now saying, I can shift gears and be the queen of pentacles for you. Man, these two are showing up like they could be an amazing match. There's a lot of stress and distress that is being removed, all because of communication. Oh my God. it's so awesome. We got the Wheel of Fortune upright. It's definitely the right time for these two to be together. They're evolved enough, they're mature enough, they're in a place where, I know this is requiring like a ton of acceptance, forgiveness, compassion on her part, to receive him. But again, we never saw him as some villain. In part one, he was not a villain in any way, shape, or form. He was just a human being who had to like work on some things of his own. And he did that very internally and in a very isolated way. It was never to harm her. It was never to be callous. It was never selfish. So, and I think that's a super important distinction. If he had been some rude dude who's just out there cheating all the time, sleeping around all the time, doesn't give a fig for her, nothing matters. And then finally he's like, oh, you know what? I kind of do want her. Like, that would be a different story. That is not what this is. That was never the case between these two. So I would just say that the maturity that we see here and the fact that although this love story is one that has maybe taken this could have taken 2 decades for these two to come back around to each other. I don't know. And we do have a 10 of Wands and that Wheel of Fortune. So we definitely see, a cycle that goes all the way to a 10 means it's a whole complete circle. The Wheel of Fortune is at least a year, but maybe a great deal longer. So I don't know, maybe this has been a really long time. This could be two people that are getting back together, in their 50s and 60s, and they knew each other back when they were in their 20s. This could have been the relationship that could be successful one day, but not until many things had happened. Can we go back over to him for just a minute? The Empress is here. She has been so pivotal in his life. I asked to go back over to him for a moment, but what we see is an Empress. She's been probably the most, I'll say, sophisticated depiction of the divine feminine he's ever come across in his life. That's probably why he's coming back around to her. And that is definitely like she's making all the right choices in how she handles her own, power. But he knows that about her. We have the Star. We have the 8 of Swords. I don't even think anybody but her could have made such an impact in his life. I don't think that there was any other person that was meant for him but her. And I kind of think he's known that from the beginning, but my God, is it ever being reinforced by the way she's receiving him as he returns into her world. This is she is so healing. I kind of feel like he's appreciating her at a much deeper level at this point also, simply because he feels so free. Think of how amazing it would be to not be harshly judged, when you've already gone through maybe some hell because you've been doing your best to try to internally, without bothering anybody else, just deal with your ish, and then you finally kind of get yourself sorted out, and then you come towards someone, and instead of them being mad and screaming at you, they actually just kind of like comfortably sit down and eat a sandwich with you. That sense of like gratitude would be just that relief, that peace, like that really marks a turning point for him, where it's like, I really am healed, I really am better. And not only that, but this amazing person, like I love her even more because of what she's shown me. There is definitely a lot of grace here. There's definitely, like, she is 1 in a billion. I don't think that she would have been this way if he had been bad to her and she had to protect herself from him. I do not see that this would have been that story. If he had been lying and causing her grief and disrespecting her previously, that wouldn't have been this story. Let me just ask, how did she see him and his treatment of her? We have 7 of Swords. She knew all the while, he's not telling me everything. He's hiding pieces of himself. He doesn't want me to see pieces of himself. It's not the same as like he's lying to me to disrespect me. This is lying and running away. He doesn't want me to see the stuff he's most vulnerable about. There was never a time that she didn't know. Justice card is here. And we do have Anubis. Like, Anubis weighs and measures a soul's journey through life to see if it merits moving onward to the next plane of existence in the Egyptian pantheon. To have that Justice card here, just like, no, it wasn't fair. It wasn't right that he's hiding stuff and running from me. But at the same time, if that's how it's going to be, I mean, he's fixing things anyway. You're running from me. You're not telling me the truth. Then that's it. Like, you're the one being cheated out of my energy because you're not able to stay because you'd have to open up. So your only course of action is to run away and hide. Sucks to be you. Like, I do think that it's not that she didn't know that this was unfair the way it was going down, but who's suffering the most? Probably him, right? He's the one who's going to run from her amazing energy. He's the one who gets cheated out of being able to be in her energy, because I don't think she was going to put up with somebody that won't open up. That's why he had to run. It definitely feels like it's probably, again, only a very divine feminine could see it that way. I'm not saying I'd be big enough to see it that way. But I don't think at any point in time she didn't get the fact that, come on, he's standing in a claw, for God's sakes, with, clinging on by a thread to something that's on fire, and then trying to hold that yin yang symbol out in front of him and trying to figure out, how can I choose a better path? Well, first you probably have to quit standing in the middle of a claw. It's like, it's almost like she said all along, yeah, I know he wishes he could be at peace, but that is just not where he's at right now. So until he can choose the peaceful path, he probably is going to have to keep running. Natalie D in 1188, thank you so much. You guys are so generous. Thank you guys. You're so sweet. Now this is one of those situations where it was just tough. It was just a really tough situation, but I don't think she was okay with it at all. That's probably, again, why he knew he had to split, because if you're not going to open up and bring her in fully to whatever you're struggling with, then you're not ready to be a partner. But I kind of feel like she goes, yeah, I know. He wasn't. His actions showed that. He was standing in the middle of chaos and didn't want me to be a part of it, didn't want me to share it with him, didn't want to share what he's going through with me. It's not fair. You can't call me a partner but not be one to me. So I know why he ran. Her ability to understand this situation was pretty remarkable in this whole thing. Yeah, we got the World card in the reverse. She said all along, maybe we won't be together in this lifetime. And I think her ability to say, although I don't feel like we had closure, although I don't feel like anything was done between us, I still don't know that it's ever going to turn around and we're going to have a new cycle. So I'm not banking on that. She did let him go to let him keep running if that's what he was going to do. That again, super like flex power move on her part. You got to run. Okay, then run. You're going to keep running until you're done running. I'm not going to chase you. You got to do what you got to do. And I'm definitely not going to assume that you're ever coming back around in this lifetime, because that's your stuff that you got to work out. And you obviously don't want my help on this. So you got to go, and I got to just move on. That was her attitude in all this. She just kind of carried on with her own life, is what it seems like, which is pretty remarkable to be able to do that. See it for what it is, but not have like wrath or anger or bitterness towards somebody. Final message for her. Death card. Again, it's about transformation. Maybe for a while she was pissed off, but she did transform beyond this and say, sometimes you got to let things be what they are. You know, you might be hurt, you might be upset, but you can also see it for what it is. And then you got to let yourself go through it, let it transform you. Hopefully you transform yourself for the better, make peace with whatever it is, because people can only do what they can do. So if she did have frustration or something, I feel like she learned how to accept situations for what they are, which I don't know what more you can do, right? We can't speed up somebody's healing. We can't force them to feel more comfortable. This, whatever they went through wasn't her thing to deal with. So transforming, letting things go, letting things change, letting herself evolve because of this experience. I kind of feel like her evolution on this has been fairly recent, because we have the serpent here. I'm wondering if she's only just now in this year come to a greater, sorry, I just spit, come to a greater sense of peace in all of this. This almost feels like it's very timely. Remember, the Wheel of Fortune was here as well for these two. I'm wondering if this kind of like her ability to be in this Empress energy, for her to receive this message, for her to sit with this calmly, for her to ask herself what she wants to do, how she wants to handle something. I'm almost wondering if she's only recently come to this really like philosophical, profound sense of peace. You know, understanding all of this like wisdom is one thing, but really not having an emotional charge. Because I mean, she says, yeah, they were hiding, they were running from me, and it wasn't right. I didn't get treated right by them. She acknowledges all of that, but she's also beyond the upset of it. But I'm kind of feeling like maybe this is a new development for her, which is pretty damn good timing. I mean, Year of the Serpent, maybe that's why this can happen now, is because they've clearly transformed. She's also transformed. I mean, she had every right to be hurt and pissed and feel like somebody was, messing with her, playing with her, even if that wasn't their intention. Still, when the reality of it is, you hid from me, you ran off from me, but you loved me, that hurts. I could see that if she were really wounded by this, she'd have every right to be. But we didn't really touch on that until now. And now I'm like, oh, damn, maybe she was really cut by that at one point in time, but she just isn't now. The her that we've seen throughout this is like so peaceful, so empowered. It's amazing. It's amazing that she's in this calm space. So as far as final message for him goes, let's get one over here. I feel like this story has only been like 5 minutes, and I look up and it's 23 minutes long. We have Justice and we have the Two of Pentacles. On his side, let me put it this way. Remember, he's like down on his knees with gratitude. Like, I cannot believe she is willing to like be so compassionate, so understanding with me. He sees her as that Empress. He sees her as somebody that is a star. He sees her as this incredible divine feminine. And I gotta say, for the final messages to him, and this is kind of like the messages from the universe that kind of summarize this, he does have a lot to make up for. Like, even in all fairness, the universe is not letting him off the hook. Don't think that you didn't hurt your divine feminine, because you did. Don't think that she didn't cry until her mascara and her blue eyeshadow was raining down her eyes. Don't imagine that because she's giving you this grace that you shouldn't still feel like you have a lot to atone for, because you do. If she doesn't tell you how badly you hurt her and she's just giving this opportunity to get to know you. Don't think that you don't have a million things to try to maybe spend the rest of your life making up for. You did do her wrong. Where were you when she might have needed you? We get it. You had your own stuff to deal with. But that Two of Pentacles says, do you really think she's had an easy time? Do you really think you're the only person that has huge wounds, huge scars? Do you really think that you can only work on your own stuff and abandon somebody else that you profess to love and think that you didn't leave them maybe an extra wound on top of whatever they might have already carried? Do you really have a right to only think of yourself, especially when you say you love somebody else? Just know you did what you had to do at that point in time, but don't think that it was okay. I mean, that might have been all they could do. Okay. I'm not trying to heap blame on them, even though it totally sounds like what I just did, but this card says there's blame here. And I kind of appreciate the fact that the universe is saying, just because she's going to be a freaking goddess about this and not like, meh, 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 you should feel bad. You did her really, really, really wrong. Aries so agrees with that. Aries is big pissed about this. You don't treat my lady. They have a lot. They need to look at it from her point of view. You know, it's all well and good that he sees her as amazing and generous and kind and all of this. But seriously, what do you think she's been through? Did you even know? Did you even check up on her? How was she? Did she have financial stability? Did she have anybody that had her back? Did she have moments where she was in devastating loss? Were you there as a shoulder to cry on? Did you give her any strength, any support? No, you did not. So do you have a lifetime to make up for? Yeah, and you're pretty damn lucky she's willing to give it to you. Sorry, I know I'm coming down hard on this character, but I do feel like this has been so accepting on her side. And please know this does not have to be masculines versus feminines. It's not like that. It's just, this is the reality check. You are being given so much grace right now, and she's letting you come back into her world, and she's not judging you as harsh as the universe is. But the universe is like, don't think for an instant that that was okay the way you treated somebody that you loved, because it's not. You really don't get off scot-free for that, because what about them? Do you really think you're the only one who's known pain? So they have a lot to atone for, but that's between them kind of and the universe, and the way they'll atone for it is how they're going to be there for her now from this point forward is what it kind of looks like. So yes, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm the mean friend who I might be like, well, that's wonderful. I'm so glad the two of you are back together. And then I'd pull this person off the side and be like, don't you ever think that do you know what she went through? Do you? And I would be that, I would be that bitch. You know, she might be taking you back, but just know you have got a billion things to make up to her. And I will tell you every single thing that happened to her, because she probably won't whine about it, but I'm going to tell you what you owe her. I'm going to tell you what you weren't there for. I'm going to tell you what you need to fix for how you weren't there beside her. I'm going to let you know, because I'm not cutting you slack. That I'm so sorry that I am that person. I get very defensive for my characters because I want it to be fair. Page of Cups. Again, this is not to make this person say sorry. Don't say sorry. Do the things that show that you're going to be there now and make up for what you weren't there for, right? Page of Cups, he is sorry, but he's got to be the shelter now. He's got to be the person who wouldn't abandon again. He's got to be the person who doesn't put his own problems above everybody else's and say, well, too bad for everybody else, even people that I love, because my stuff is more important. Nope. That's not how that works. You got to be there. You got to be strong enough to fight the fight next to your person. Even when you're, melting, you got to still open up to them and vice versa. Again, I say all that, but every situation has so much gray area, and that's a lot to expect of a person who maybe did the best he could with what he had, right? But we're still going to hold him somewhat accountable because these cards came out. So I wouldn't have said that had the cards not come out. He is sorry. But again, it's not about saying sorry. It's about being better from now on and being there for the person. We can see that's what he intends. We can see that. So earn your way back in so that Kate, the ferocious friend that nobody wants, can finally be like, quit giving him the stink eye. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave that one there. You guys, thanks for hanging out. I'm sorry sometimes I've got opinions all day. Hey, Tanya. Karen Bishop. Taylor Dane. I haven't listened to Taylor Dane in forever. Oh my gosh. Hey, Lucia. Jenny the Carnut. AC. Hey. Veronica Lopez. Polka Dot Suzanne. Hi, sweetie. How are you feeling, love? So good to see you. I think Aries is sassier than even me. Jason F. Yeah, totally. Accountability on both sides. Yes, that's a great way to say that. Hi, Sunsoul. Steve at Gibson. Good to see you. Sassy S. Hey. Thank you for being here, love. Space Balloon. Hi. Thank you again, Natalie D. And 11D8, you angel. Black Butterfly 25. Hi, angel. Hey, Calm C. Nice. 11D8, you're having stir fry. I love it. Frito Dadan, good to see you. Friendly Fires. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you guys for giving it a thumbs up. I so appreciate that. Eliana, hi. Yes, that is exactly the song that was going on in my head. Atar Axia. Lalu, Stevette Gibson. Nice. You got the popcorn. I love it. Lucia, thank you, Angel. So good to see you again lately. What a nice surprise. Ash Cash, you were first in the house. Oh my gosh. AC, thank you. Ferocious Kate. I like that. I like that better than maybe Sassy Kate, although let's be honest, that's pretty appropriate too. But Ferocious Kate is probably I have been called the Kraken before. Hi, Deborah. Nikki O. Hey. Lindsay, hi. Homesick for Hills. Thank you, love. All right, you guys, take care. Lots of love. Hey, Journey with Amani. Thank you, Lucia. All right, you guys, I'll see you again. Probably going to still get to a couple of other zodiacs still tonight, and then I'll see you guys over on Tarot Dog. Bye for now.